All right, Algebra 1, we are talking about Chapter 6.6, which is Compound Inequalities. So we are approaching the end of Chapter 6. Compound inequalities are something that is very similar to what we've been doing already with inequalities. Compound inequality is just two inequalities, but they're combined. So two inequalities combined with the word or and. Okay. And so we're going to talk about both kinds here. And the way you solve these is very similar to what you've been doing. Just treat it like an equation, okay? So the or inequalities have a tendency to graph outward, okay? Or in other words, kind of like this, where you have one going this way and one going this way. Okay, that's what I mean by outward. All right, so when it says, for example, x is less than or equal to -2, I've got a solid point on -2, and it's pointing to the left, so I graph to the left. And then x greater than 3, that's an open circle on 3, and it's pointing to the right, so I'm graphing to the right. And so as you can see, they're going outward. Okay, that's what it meant by that. So again, don't worry about interval notation. Let's talk about how we solve these. Okay, pretty simple with or. All you're doing really is solving both of these individually. So we'll do a few of these and then go to the back side. So for this one, I'm just splitting it up into two separate inequalities. So in this first one, I add 4, so I get x is less than -3. And then on the other one, I divide by 2, x greater than or equal to 6. So these are two separate inequalities combined by the word or. So when I graph this, -3 is an open circle. It's going to the left. And then x is greater than or equal to 6. That's a closed circle on 6. It's going to the right. And there we are. Okay. So let's do one more here. So number 3, same deal. I've got to solve both of these separately. So I subtract 9, I get 2x greater than 8. Divide by 2, get x is greater than 4. And then here I subtract 10 to both sides, I get 5x less than 0. Divide by 5, x is less than 0. So, or statement. I've got x is greater than 4, so that's an open circle on 4 going to the right, and then less than 0, open circle on 0 going to the left. And so there's my solution. All right. So pretty easy. Just keep in mind that you're going both directions. Okay. So one more, and then we'll go to the back side. So 7x greater than or equal to 14, divide by 7, x is greater than or equal to 2. Or, and let's solve this one. We've got 4x less than or equal to -8, divide by 4, get x is less than or equal to -2. So let's go ahead and graph. I've got x is greater than or equal to 2, so that's a closed circle on 2, going to the right. x is less than or equal to -2, so that's also a closed circle, this time going to the left. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and challenge you to do this one. Okay, so if you need to pause it and write that down, whatever you need to do, go ahead and do so. And then we're going to go to the back side. So on the back, we're talking about and inequalities. Okay, so this and that. So and inequalities have a tendency to graph inward. So for instance, I have a point here, and then you're graphing actually between the two of them. Okay, so when you're doing and inequalities, you want to think between the two numbers. Okay, so in this case, I've got x is greater than or equal to -6, so that's a closed circle going to the right, and then x is less than or equal to 1, so it's a closed circle going to the left. So you can kind of see how they run into each other, and so all your solutions are between those two numbers. Okay, so because the solutions to an and inequality fall between, and here's that word, between two endpoints, they are frequently written in more condensed form. So for instance, I might have x is less than 6 and x is greater than or equal to -2. Well, instead, I can just go ahead and say x is, so if I switch this around, I'm going -2 is less than or equal to x, which is less than 6. Okay, so that is the condensed form, and notice it's least to greatest, and you always have less than. Okay, so you want to make sure that's kind of how it goes each time. So when you are solving and inequalities, you want to get x by itself, okay, which is nothing new, right? But whatever you do to the middle, you must do to the outsides, both outsides. Okay, so for instance, in this case, I want x by itself in the middle. Okay, so I would subtract 4. Well, there's subtracting 4 to everything. Okay, so 4 is done. I got x in the middle. This is -2, less than or equal to, less than 5. And now I've got x between -2 and 5. So go to my graph, I've got 2 and 5. Now double check. Since it's underlined there, -2 is going to be a closed circle. No underline there, so 5 is going to stay open. And then I just shade between them. Okay. So same thing on the next two. Okay. Let's see. Let's do these two. So for this one, I've got 3x minus 4 in the middle. So the first thing I want to do is add 4. Well, if I add 4, I got to add 4 to all three parts. So in the middle, I've got 3x. This is -12, less than or equal to 3x, less than or equal to 6. Now I divide by 3. But again, I got to divide everything by 3. So -4, less than or equal to x, less than or equal to 2. Now I've got x between -4 and 2. So -4 closed circle since it's underlined on the 4. 2, also underlined, so also closed. And then shade between. All right. So we'll do one more and then I'll leave you with one. So in this case, I've got 2/3 x plus 1. Okay, so the first thing I want to do here is subtract 1 in the middle. So I'm going to subtract 1 to all 3 parts. I get -2 less than 2/3x less than or equal to 4. Now, like we've done fractions before, I want to get rid of the bottom. So I'm going to multiply by 3. Well, I got to multiply everything by 3. So in the middle, I'm going to have 2x left over. And then I have 12 and -6. Now I divide by 2 to everything, and I get x in the middle, -3 less than or equal to 6. Now I've got my inequality. So -3 is right here, 6 is right here. Now, 6 is going to be closed, 3 is not. And then I just, again, shade between them. All right. So the last one I'm going to go ahead and leave with you. So if you need to pause the video, go ahead and write that one down and think about what you would do to get x by itself here in the middle. Okay? So I will leave you with that, and then we'll talk about that tomorrow. If you have any questions today or want to go through something today, get on the Zoom or just let me know, and we can go ahead and talk about it. Go through a few problems together. All right? Just let me know. I'm here to help. Peace.